I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call to quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve, stretch, on my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no given. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous. They don't wonder when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know this because I've been in it. I don't need to brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem, man. Perfect, let them watch me. Elevating, got them nauseous. Cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the option. Woo! Watch how I get ahead. Watch how I get ahead. Watch how I get ahead.
It's time! Welcome to DFS by the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers and welcome to Best Bet for UFC Vegas 77. We have Holm going against Mayra Bueno Silva. And we have kind of a quick show today. Danny was supposed to hop on. Danny isn't feeling too well, so it's just going to be Narco. Narco, what is up? You looking forward to this card?
What's up, my man? Yeah, always looking forward to a UFC card. I'm back home after spending 40 long days in Vegas. I'm pretty burned out, but I'm actually nice and fresh for taping fights and kind of hungry again, because it was kind of tough to tape out there. It really was. And I had minimal bets on most cards. So, yeah, I'm ready to go here.
40 days in Vegas. I spent 3 days in Vegas and I was like dead by the time I came back. So I could not imagine 40 days in Vegas.
Mostly business. I'm playing poker every day. So, yeah, mostly business. But it was a good trip. Overall, I made $20K overall. So I'm happy.
Yeah, 20K is a very, very good trip. But before we get started, if you guys can, please smash the like button, subscribe here to the channel. Narco's info is all down in the description. Go check them out. And I do want to shout out the chat before we get started. We got AK in here, first one. We got Andres. We got Victor de Jesus, the Amsterdam. We got Melon. We got Trey Fisher in the chat. We got Leon. We got Linnell. We got Zen, Easy Picks, and Betz. Aiken. We got Stevie. What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for hanging out on a Saturday. So, yeah, like I said, quicker show today. Short and sweet. I'll give some thoughts on some fights as well. I don't have a ton of bets on this card. I actually just added a couple late sprinkles, and we'll talk about those as well. But we're going to kick it off with the first fight of the card. And we have Eileen Perez going against Ashley Evans Smith. I never thought I'd see the day where we have Eileen Perez as a minus 260 favorite in the UFC. This line has moved quite a bit. Eileen Perez was sitting around anywhere from minus 130 to minus 160 for a while. And then just the last couple of days, she's got completely steamed all the way out to minus 260. Narco, how you feeling about that minus 260? And what is your best bet on the first fight of the night? And by the way, we have 13 fights, so you do get 3 passes.
Is this real life? She opened minus 450 there. Is that even accurate?
I believe that's accurate, but it was only for like a second, though.
Oh, my goodness. All right. I never thought I'd see the day that she opens at minus 450. Let alone being minus 260 come fight time. But I like her in this spot. I think she has Ashley Evans Smith pretty much covered here. Ashley Evans Smith, 36 years old. She's getting older. She hasn't fought for a while. Doesn't look like MMA is kind of interesting. I think it's her last fight on her contract. She's 0-2. I think she just wants to fulfill her contract at this point. She's been gone for a while on a 2-fight losing streak, like I said. I like the Perez side, but like when I look at ITD, it's kind of similar to the under 2.5. So I'm going to go with under 2.5. It's plus 155. I think Perez finishes her, to be honest, for the most part here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not touching the fight, but yeah, I think Perez gets it done. Could be inside the distance as well. I kind of feel like Ashley Evans Smith is just maybe showing up for a paycheck at this point. I was actually surprised when I saw she was, booked for a fight. She has not fought in 2.5 years, and prior to her fighting, she's like 1-4 in her last 5 fights. So yeah, I'll go with Perez as well, but nothing really sticking out from a betting perspective. Narco is taking the under there. Robert taking the Ashley Evans Smith as a dog. I mean, at this point, I probably would at plus 220, but at the same time, I don't want to put any money on one Ashley Evans Smith. We got Zach in here. Appreciate you dudes going through this atrocious card for the D-Gens. Yeah, I mean, hopefully the card plays out fun. I think there's some fun fights on it for sure. Yeah, opened up minus 450, and she was sitting at minus 450 for looks like 21 minutes there. So I don't know. Smith 2.0 coming for one last title run. I don't know about that. All right, let's keep moving on. We have Carl Deaton III going against Alex Munoz. Another line that's moved a little bit. Looks like Munoz now minus 192, but he was sitting around like minus 140, minus 150 earlier in the week. So yeah, money's coming in on Munoz as of late. Munoz is another guy that has taken quite a bit of a layoff. I think 2 years since we've seen him last, and he is 0-2 in the UFC. So he's not got a win in a while, but he takes on Carl Deaton here. Narco, what is your best bet for this fight?
Yeah, I like Munoz in this fight. I think he's going to be able to land takedowns. He's a very high-level wrestler. Collegiate, I think he was an All-American, if I'm not mistaken. And he's also the head wrestling coach at Team Alpha Male. So the guy can wrestle his ass off. The problem I see with Munoz a little is that his control is not very good when he gets guys down. I've seen a lot of his fights, and every single one of his takedowns, his opponents pretty much get up almost immediately. So his ground control is not very good, but I think the rinse and repeat takedowns are going to be there. Deaton doesn't have the best takedown defense. And on the feet, I think it's particularly close. That's another area where I really don't like Deaton much. I don't think he has much power. I do think Munoz probably throws with more power here. The volume and the size is going to be on the Deaton side, but honestly, Munoz wrestling, I think will get it done here. Decision, Munoz plus 125 is how I'm looking at this. I don't see him. Deaton is kind of a dog. He's hard to get out of there. Yes, he got taken out last time, but it's against a very, very high-level jiu-jitsu player, and Munoz is just not that. His jiu-jitsu game is not very good. It's just his wrestling is very good. So plus 125 by decision. It's on Bet Rivers. That's where I'm going to go on this fight.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I was potentially looking to bet Munoz like earlier in the week. I think the line came down for a second. I think it was in like minus 145 around there. Tempted to pull the trigger. I did not. I kind of waited, and he's now minus 190. But yeah, I think at this point, the best play is that Munoz by decision. I don't see him knocking out Carl Deaton, and I don't think he's submitting him either. So I think decision prop. If you got to bet Munoz, I think that is the way to go. The layoff is a little scary. I think he's coming off like a major injury, major surgery. But if he shows up, anywhere near the Munoz we know, he should go out there and make this look pretty easy there.
So he tore his ACL, and he talked about it in an interview, and I guess he tore it. He had surgery, and then he hurt it again or something. But he said he's 100%. He feels great. That's why he took so long. He wanted to make sure he's 100%, and he's saying he's tested that knee for months now, and he feels really good.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, taking the proper time off, making sure he's 100% ready to go, and that's good stuff to hear. We got Glenbot in the chat. We got our Uncle Weezy hanging out. What is up, Uncle Weezy? We got James in here. What is up, everybody? All right, let's keep moving on to this next fight. We have Azat Maxim going against Tyson Nam. We have Maxim sitting around minus 415. This line just hasn't, budged the entire week pretty much, around minus 400, minus 415. Tyson Nam sitting at plus 315. Wide price tag here for, flyweight making his debut, but I think Maxim is the real deal here. It's just laying minus 415, not something I really want to do. Narco, what is your best bet for this fight?
Yeah, I'm going back to the decision well here on Maxim. Plus 235 on Bet Rivers. And I know a lot of people expect him to go in there and just run through Tyson Nam. But when we look at Tyson Nam historically, like no one's really run through him, right? The only person that I remember running through him is Marlon Moraes, who head kicked him. He head kicked him to another planet. But outside of that, last fight against Bruno Silva, it took like a crazy ass up kick to hurt him, and then Silva jumped on his back and submitted him. But historically, like this guy is super durable, has a very good chin, defensively very sound, has a very good takedown defense, and I'm not going just off the UFC. He has 100% takedown defense in the UFC, but when you go back and watch his regional tape, when he's facing Zalgas, when he's facing Ali Bagatanov, who's a very, very high level wrestler, his takedown defense checks out, man. And Maxim's game is good. He's got pretty good striking, has a decent power, has very good grappling. I just feel like he's going to outvolume Nam. I think he might get a takedown or two here. But Nam is he's very weary when he's on the ground. And I don't think he's going to get subbed here. I don't think he's going to get knocked out here. So I see him surviving. Maxim by decision is, again, 235 on Bet Rivers. I'm going to go with that here. I think they're giving this guy way too much credit for getting Tyson Nam out of there based on Nam's last fight. And I kind of feel like an up kick is just such low percentage of a thing to land, So, Maxim by decision plus 235.
All right, plus 235 there. Nate saying the under. I wouldn't bet the under at this point. Like the under 2.5, it opened up plus money, plus 150. At that price, I probably would have took it, but laying minus 140 on a flyweight under on kind of an unproven guy in Maxim against a guy in Nam who is very tough. I don't really like that price tag. I think it probably does finish, but these price tags, in terms of the violence, are just unplayable. So, Glenn saying over 1.5 at their last 4 out of 7. The over 1.5 is minus 170. Do you like the over 1.5 or 2.5 more, Narco?
Yeah, I probably go with over 2.5, honestly, just because I think if Maxim finishes, it's early. But as the later this fight goes, I don't think he's going to finish Nam. I mean, Nam has good cardio. It's not like he slows down. It's not like his cardio's bad. This guy's been 5 rounds regionally. Only kind of thing that you want to look at is, he's 39 years old, right? And he's cutting the flyweight. But dude, the guy looks fucking fantastic on the scales every single time. Like he's laughing, smiling. We think it's a tough weight cut, but it just doesn't seem to be a tough weight cut for this guy.
Exactly. I mean, Nam looked in incredible shape yesterday. James saying that Nam's winning today. If Nam's winning, it's probably some type of knockout, but it's hard to bank on a.
I would play him by KO, honestly. Yeah. I would not touch. Like, I know his money line is good, but what's his KO?
His KO, it's probably
700, maybe
770.
Yeah, I would play his KO. I mean, he's just so low volume, and he doesn't have any grappling. Like, I just don't see him winning a decision unless he's knocking Maxim down a couple of times or something, So yeah. I don't know.
Nam isn't bad. Yeah, he's not. He's a solid fighter. Always has been. Zen saying Nam KO sprinkle. If you play Nam, I think that's how you got to play it. I don't see him winning a decision here. All right. Next, we have what should be an absolute banger. We have Evan Elder going against Genaro Valdez. We have Evan Elder minus 300. Genaro Valdez plus 250. Another price tag that's pretty wide, but the more I look into it, I just don't think Valdez is that great, to be honest. I think Elder should get this done, but laying minus 300 on someone like Evan Elder is not really something I want to do. Narco, what is your best bet for this fight?
I really like the Elder side here. I think he dominates the grappling in this fight. On the feet, I think it's a lot closer. I don't think the problem with Elder on the feet is he's very hittable, right? So I'm just kind of confused. Like, his KO prop is very, very low. And I understand Valdez gets hurt and, he got dropped multiple times, and I get all that stuff. But to me, like, he's still that tough Mexican guy that's going to be hard to finish. You can drop him. You can hurt him. You've seen Frivola, like, drop him multiple times. And this guy just kept coming, getting up. Just kept coming until Frivola ended him. And I just don't see the same power from Elder, to be honest. Like, he has some power, but his striking is not in combinations. It's like 1-2 at a time. But I see a huge edge in the wrestling, right? I think he can take this fight to the ground. I think he can control this guy. Over 1.5 is where I'm going here. It's minus 136 on FanDuel. It just, it's just one of those fights where I think Elder does a lot of the grappling, a lot of the wrestling, but he's not going to be able to sub this guy because let's be honest, Nathan Levy has way better submission skills than Evan Elder, and he couldn't get it done with, 6 takedowns, and he had him in multiple good spots and couldn't finish this guy. So for me, over 1.5, and like, I think Elder decision has a ton of value. I think it's peaked at like plus 400 in certain spots, and I think that's wild.
Yeah, I guess it all comes down to the Elder game plan. I mean, if he wrestles, this over 1.5 is going to hit really easily. My concern with Elder is he might come out there and just stand and bang and get into a big war. At that point, might get a little greasy. I think the over could hit though, whether he does wrestle or whether he does, drop Valdez a couple times, but Valdez is able to get up. So don't hate the over. I did consider it myself. I think this fight probably does finish at some point, but we'll see what happens there. Glenn is on the decision side as well. Hot take, Evan by decision. Yeah, I've seen a couple people on that. And that decision prop, I think I saw it like plus 450 at one point, but it got bet down. It was on Bet365. I thought that was interesting. Plus 350 right now. Monkelwee's prop template absolutely loves the over 1.5. Minus 55, trifecta bet. Yeah, we didn't get to do probability today, but yeah, that one makes a lot of sense, especially if Elder wrestles there. But we can move on to the next fight. We have Mel Costa going against Austin Lingo. Yeah, last night I was looking at the lines and I saw Mel Costa like minus 260. He is now back to minus 210. Austin Lingo plus 180 here. Narco, what is your best bet for this fight?
Man, I love submission here. Plus 450 now. It went down some. I got it at 550, but you can get it at 450 on BetMGM. Just watch Lingo's fights. Like every single fight that hits the mat, he's in like some deep submission. Like every single one outside of Saldana fight, every single one he gets put in submissions. Zalal put him in multiple ones. Who's the other guy that he fought after Zalal? I forgot his name, but he's a terrible fighter.
Landwehr?
Who was it?
Landwehr or?
No, Jacob Kilburn.
Oh,
Jacob Kilburn put him in a deep submission. And then finally, Landwehr ended him with a submission. Mel Costa has very good submissions. Like he's got very good skills on the ground. I could see a club and sub from Costa. I can see a lot of ways that Costa can win here, but submission kind of sticks out for me, man. He's got good jiu-jitsu. I saw it against Moises. He got submitted by Moises, but man, he was on bottom. He got up. Like he was doing the right things. And I just feel like Lingo is just going to be chucking big shots. And if he gets hurt, he's going to panic shoot and he's probably going to end up getting subbed, man. And 450 is out there. I'm going to go Mel Costa by submission plus 450 here.
Yep, I think that's definitely on the table. I was also looking at like those round 2, round 3 sprinkles for Costa. Caesar's had plus 2,000 for a second. Now it's only plus 1,100. So that got like
they don't. So I thought they had that it's kind of like a fake line. Caesar's doesn't have. Yeah, they don't have like round with what type of prop. They don't have it. They just have round props.
All right.
So well, I don't know why they put it on there. I right away went to it yesterday to try to bet it, and it's not there.
Well, that makes me feel a lot better then that I did not miss out on that plus 2,000 round 2, and it said plus 3,000 round 3. So those don't exist, which make me feel a lot better. But yeah, sub makes a lot of sense. You said plus 450, right? Sounds good. All right. I like Mel, but this fight is a mess to me. I think if I had to bet this fight, it would be that prop sprinkle. I think that prop is very much on the table. I would like to see, Costa grapple a little bit more, but if this fight hits the mat, I think the sub is right there. I played the 0.25 units on Costa sub 2-3 submission combo on FanDuel. Goodness, that's not bad at all. Plus 1,100. I like it. How can Costa be a favorite? I mean, he's fighting Austin Lingo is probably why. I'm not too high on him, but I think it's a good matchup for him in this particular fight. All right, let's keep moving on. Narco.
One more thing to mention. I'm sorry. One more thing to mention. He fought on short notice at 55, just so everybody knows his last time out against Moises, who's a superior grappler.
Yep, 100%. All right, Narco, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bets. You have 5 more. You have 3 passes left. We're going to move on to the next fight. You have Estela Nunez going against Victoria Dudakova. I'm actually like weirdly looking forward to this matchup. I think Nunez could potentially have a lot of success early, but as this fight goes on, we see just Nunez fall off a cliff. I think her takedown defense is horrible. I think her submission defense is bad. Her cardio is very bad. I think Dudakova is very live after the first round. Minus 185. This lines came down a lot. Believe it or not, Dudakova opened at minus 550. She's currently minus 185. Estela Nunez opened up plus 400, currently plus 160. So money coming in on Nunez throughout the week. Narco, what do you like for this fight here?
I like the Dudakova side, man. I mean, problem with Nunes is she's one round and bust. Like, she has no cardio, very bad takedown defense after round one. And those are all of Dudakova's strengths. Like, she's got good cardio. She's got very good takedowns. She looks pretty strong in the clinch. She is a dog, which you want to see, fighting on a torn ACL in Dana White's Contender Series and still getting a takedown in round 3 against a girl, Maria Silva, who has way better takedown defense, is a lot stronger physically than Nunes. I was impressed by seeing that because I was on the Maria Silva side and I was very shocked that she was getting takedowns like that against Silva. So for me here, I think Dudakova gets her down. I think it's going to happen in 2-3. And this is the one I like. It's 2-3 submission for Dudakova at plus 550. I think she gets it in the round 2 and 3, and she finishes this chick in one of those rounds.
Yep, I like it. I'm on that. I'm on the fight doesn't go myself. Also to consider sprinkling those Dudakova late props. Also, I know you do a lot of live betting, Narco. I think Dudakova is a very good live bet spot because I think Nunes probably does have some success early on here.
Yep.
Nunes has no power. She has decent power. I mean, she dropped Teregi a couple times, but we got Riff Raff saying give these guys a like. It takes 2 seconds. We do appreciate all the likes here. Nunes round 1 club and sub. A club and sub. That is a very, very hot take there. I wonder what Nunes round 1 sub is. Probably something crazy. Nunes round 1 sub is I don't even know.
3,700 and 4,000.
Goodness. There you go. I mean, if you hit that, respect. Victor on the same thing there. Round 2-3 submission. I think that's absolutely the way to go. Money coming in on Nunes because Gomes knocked out Heregi. Recency bias. Nunes dropped Heregi earlier in the fight. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on here. Which round? I would lean like second, third. If I had to guess, it'd be second. Narco, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's second or third. It's going to be close because I think Nunes starts falling off a cliff like 7.5 minute mark. So, and Dudakova is going to keep chasing takedowns. That's the thing. Like, I think like when you watch Nunes and there wasn't a lot of grappling in Heregi fight, it was just like kind of pressuring forward from Heregi and throwing punches. And dude, she absolutely gassed bad in that fight. It's like this girl just, and it's not maybe physical. It's more like mental. Like the pressure gets to her. I don't know what the deal is, but I mean, who was the other chick that had her on the ground and just pounding the shit on her in round 2 and 3?
Sam Hughes was on.
Sam Hughes. I mean, there you go. Like Sam Hughes. Like Dudakova, I think is much better grappler than Sam Hughes is. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I like it. We'll keep moving on, though. We have Tucker Lutz going against Melsik Bagdasaryan. We have a line that has really crashed down throughout the week. Tucker Lutz was sitting around plus 180 for a while, currently plus 120. Melsik Bagdasaryan currently minus 135. Narco, what do you like for this fight here?
This one's the one I'm going to use my pass on. I do like the Bagdasaryan side at this price, and I might actually jump in on it at, now that it's crashed too far down, in my opinion. Was I willing to play Melsik at, minus 200? No. But, man, Tucker Lutz is just – if you want to talk about mediocre, this guy is mediocre at best. At least Melsik has very good striking and a lot of power. So, yeah, it's a pass for me here. But I like the Melsik side.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking Lutz here as far as the pick goes, but I would have liked the plus 180 much better. So at this point, I'm going to be passing, but and yeah, nothing really sticking out in this fight. Some people talking about like Melsik KO. Do you like the KO? I think it's like plus 270, something like that.
No, I kind of feel like this fight hits the scorecards, to be honest. But I think it's Melsik in a close decision, maybe 29-28 kind of decision.
Yeah, that's how I'm seeing it. Close decision. Lutz maybe with some wrestling. Melsik doing the better work on the feet. I think it could be close. Potentially even a split as well. Ben saying Melsick by KO, world-class head kick from a world-class striker. The guy's striking is phenomenal. Melsick by decision says Glenbot, we shall see, we shall see. All right, what we're gonna do now is I think that is the end of the prelims. We're gonna quickly recap Narco's plays here, make sure everything is correct. We got the Perez under 2.5 to kick off the night, plus 155. He's taking Munoz by decision, plus 125. Maxim by decision, plus 235. Elder over 2.5 rounds or over 1.5 rounds, minus 136. Costa wins by sub, plus 450. And then passing on the Melsick fight, is all that correct thus far? Narco?
You missed Dudakova 2-3 sub.
Ooh,
plus 550.
That is after the Costa fight, right?
That's after the Costa fight. Yeah.
Okay, Dudakova round 2. That's why we recap this, just for this reason right here. Plus 550.
Correct.
All right, so there you have it. Those are the prelims. Narco has 2 passes left. We're going to keep moving on to this main card opener. And my favorite fight on the card, I mean, this is my main event here. We have Nazim Sadikov going against Terrence McKinney. We got Sadikov minus 155, Terrence McKinney plus 135. Probably the most violent fight on the card because it is a Terrence McKinney fight. Narco, what are you liking in this fight here?
I'm passing again, man. I could see this fight going both ways. Like I could see McKinney knocking this guy out early. I could see Nazim knocking him out early. But as the fight goes on, you're going to have to favor Nazim. And you know, round 2 Nazim is probably sitting there at a nice price tag. And, you know, but yeah, I mean, I see violence as well. But I think McKinney's getting a little disrespected at plus 135, in my opinion. I think it's a 50-50 fight, to be honest. I think McKinney can knock anybody out. We saw him hurt Drew Dober very bad and was close to being stopped. And he has a ton of power, and Nazim gets hit a lot, man. Like he got dropped against Elder. He seems to like wars, and that's exactly how McKinney likes to fight, right? So Nazim's probably going to give McKinney the opportunity to land, and McKinney might oblige. So for me, it's a pass as far as I could see both guys winning here, but yeah, it's a violent fight.
Yeah, it's definitely a violent fight. Brady, it's McKinney, not McKinney. I never said McKinney in my life, Aiken. So you're terribly wrong about that. It's Terrence McKinney. Get it right. Mark saying over 1.5. They feel each other out. I've never seen a feeling out process in any of these guys' fights. So that would be interesting to see that.
So what's important too is you have to listen to McKinney, what he said in an interview after his last loss. He's like, I fought, and the way we trained for that fight was to kind of take it easy, you know, because he didn't fight very crazy in his last fight against Bonfim. And he said, I just don't know how to fight like that. So going forward, I'm going to fight exactly how Terrence McKinney knows how to fight. So I'm just putting this out there so people know. Like, I don't think he's going to come out cautious this time. It's going to caution to the wind is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think he's going to go out there and go crazy like he pretty much always fights. Outside the last fight, which did not work out for him. Voodoo saying, been a while since I caught you live. What is up, Voodoo? I think there will be a lot of decisions tonight. I think it's like half and half. I see a decent amount of finishes, but I feel like a lot of these fights could go the distance. Sean likes McKinney here. Reach advantage, speed advantage, more explosive, better wrestling, and has fought the far better competition. All those are very true. The problem with McKinney for me is just the cardio and the pacing, but he has a really good chance to finish this fight early. We got Forrest with the bunnies and squirrels and birds. I like it. McKinney is getting a 50K KO. And speaking of 50K KOs, Nunez's first win in the UFC is going to be 50K. Let's see if you're right. And we got Cody Blood Money in the chat, who is currently second place in the best bet competition. What is up, Cody? Best of luck to you today. All right, Narco, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights left. You have 1 pass left. We're going to go to Norma Dumont going against Chelsea Chandler. We have Norma Dumont minus 138, Chelsea Chandler plus 118. Narco, what are you liking for this fight here?
I'm using another pass. 3 in a row here.
No thoughts on it either?
Nothing to do with this fight, to be honest. I do think Norma Dumont is a lot more skilled than Chelsea Chandler. The problem is Chandler just, keeps coming. She's going to force a fight. All the things that Dumont kind of doesn't like. She likes to make it more technical. She likes to, you know, kick you and throw her 1-2s, and she's much cleaner in the striking. She is probably the better submission grappler. But Chelsea Chandler is just going to make it ugly. That's just how she fights. She's going to make it sloppy, ugly. These two girls hate each other. I don't know which way to go, honestly, here. Think it might hit the scorecards, and maybe Chandler decision is something to look at if it's a big number. I don't even know what it's at, but if it's in the 300 range, I probably play her by decision just because she does a lot. Like, she has good volume. She spams takedowns. She's going to keep going for it. And the one thing we know with Norma Dumont is she tends to keep a lot of fights close. Doesn't really finish a lot of opponents that she has on the ropes. So, yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say here. I want nothing to do with this fight.
Yeah, I'm picking Chandler with like the least amount of confidence I've ever had in a pick ever. So don't hate you for the passing there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 fights left. We're going to go to Jung Young Park going against Albert Duraev. Pretty close fight here. Jung Young Park minus 153, Albert Duraev plus 133. Narco, what is sticking out to you on this one?
I like the over in this fight. I already have a bet on Duraev at plus money. I think this is a 50-50 fight. I know a lot of people are on Park's side. I don't see why. Like, when Park covers 160s and 150s and this kind of range, he tends to have a lot of grappling success. Now, the question here is he going to have a lot of grappling success against Albert Duraev? And I think the answer is no. I think they're very close in the grappling. And in the striking, like, to be honest, Albert Duraev seems like he's leveled up a little in the striking based on where he's training, right? He's training with Strickland every day. He's getting better to me, it seems like, in the striking. He showed decent against Njokuanu, who's way better striker, in my opinion, than Young Park is. Young Park throws a lot of volume, which is different than Njokuanu, but he's not as technical as he is. So for me, I think it's a 50-50 fight. I think both guys are very durable. I think the over here has some good value. I don't think it's easy to get Park out of there, and I don't think it's easy to get Duraev out of there. So minus 130 and the over 2.5. You know, the question mark with Duraev is his cardio. It looked fine last time, but obviously the pace wasn't as high as it normally is. But it's not like Young Park is some fucking cardio machine. So I like the over 2.5 here at minus 130.
Yep. I like it as well. Yeah, these prices don't make too much sense. Like the fight goes the distance, only minus 120. I don't really see a finish here. Duraev, I don't see him finishing. Park is very durable, and I don't think Duraev has the best durability, but like Park has like no power. So yeah, I think this one does go to the scorecards. I think it is pretty close as well. I don't mind that at all. Park is very underestimated. I think he has in a lot of his fights, but he is getting some love here on the money line. Let's see here. Norma Dumb Truck Dumont. Yes, sir. Guys, Dumont getting the second, third round KO here. Yes, the decisionator is getting a finish. I mean, there's been a couple fights where Norma has shown a lot of power. Like the Wolf fight will always haunt me. I had Dumont inside the distance. She dropped her like 3 times. I think she could probably drop Chandler, who just blocks punches with her face. So we'll see if she can get that first finish. It's gonna be some opportunities there, I think. Park decision, cash it. We shall see. We shall see. All right, let's keep moving on. We have Ottman Azaitar going against Francisco Prado. Very fun fight here. About to pick him. Azaitar minus 112, Prado minus 108. Narco, what are you liking on this fight here?
I like the Prado side. I kind of don't understand why this is a pick 'em. Azaitar is a one-trick pony. He's off the sauce, like we know, because he wasn't able to bring in a bag of potatoes in the Abu Dhabi card. His brother got caught bringing in a bag of potatoes, so they didn't allow him to go in there. But I mean, this guy is when you watch his tape pre-UFC, like he's throwing a lot faster. His punches come out a lot faster. And now, the last couple of fights, he just hasn't looked very good. He doesn't have any grappling. He's been only fought 1 time in the last 3 years, which is a big red flag. Prado, 21 years old. The guy just turned 21 years old. He fought Malarkey, where he had to travel across the world to Australia on short notice. You know, all these things matter. You know, the guy's 20 years old, traveling to Australia in his UFC debut against Jamie Mullarkey in his hometown, you know, and the guy still went 3 rounds. He looked decent. His defensive grappling wrestling is not very good, but Atman Azaitar doesn't have any fucking wrestling. So if anybody's going to wrestle here, it's going to be Prado. When I watch his regional tape, he tends to wrestle a lot. So I think he's the way better submission grappler. So for me here, it's like on the feet, it's very close, but on the ground, it's not close. So give me Prado here at -110. I think this line's off probably by 60 or 70 points.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, I think Prado has just a lot more ways to win. Like, he can go out there and wrestle. I don't think we saw the best version of Prado in his debut against Jamie Mullarkey. Like, I've never seen Prado go out there and fight like that. It looked like he didn't really want to be there. That was in the bigger cage. This is in the smaller cage. I like some type of violence here. I think somebody's probably getting served. That's kind of how I'm playing it, but we will see what happens on that one. This line has came down a little bit throughout the week. About to pick him now. Let's see what we got in the chat. Prado sub 5-1 and under 2.5 in parlays. I think under 2.5 is a solid parlay piece. Prado sub plus 500. I think there could be opportunities there. Brady, where do you find these guys to come on the show? Straight fire. I give you 95% so far, except Prado. Yeah, Narco's awesome. And then we have 9 other awesome guys on the show as well. Danny was supposed to be here, but he's not feeling well. But yeah. Do you think Ozak can get a finish? I think he could. It's just I hate the price tag on it for, you know, him to get a finish. Narco's actually on the decision as well. What, like plus 235, Narco?
Yeah, 235. It's in that 235. It slowly went up all week. So
yeah, I think a lot of people are betting that finish. I think he could finish him, like I said, but I just hate the price tag on the finish. All right, let's keep moving on then. We have 2 fights here. We have the co-main event. Jack Della got promoted to the co-main event along with Basil Hafez. We got Jack Della -625, Hafez plus 450. When I first saw the line, I saw that, you know, Jack Della was not -1,000 against some newcomer. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. This guy must be good. And then after watching tape on Hafez, I'm like, yeah, this guy is very good. I think it's going to be a very competitive fight early on. My concern is if Hafez can keep it up across 3 rounds here, coming in on very, very short notice. But yeah, Jack Della -625, big favorite. Narco, what are you liking on this fight here?
I'll tell you guys something. Hafez is very similar to Sean Brady. He really is. I mean, he's got very good wrestling. He's got very, very good jiu-jitsu. He's a black belt. And now that he's training in elevation, I think his cardio is much better. I watched his last Evan Cutts fight, and I know this guy from the regional scene, and I watch a lot of regionals. And I watched the first Cutts fight where he absolutely gassed compared to the second Cutts fight where he looked fucking fantastic in round 3. The guy hits hard on the feet. He's got power. He's built like a truck. He's got, like I said, very good wrestling and very good jiu-jitsu. He's a black belt. And all those things are what Jack Della struggles with. Good wrestlers, good grappling, right? And Basil Hafez has that in him. He's at Elevation Fight Team. I know some guys that train with him said he absolutely looks like a beast in there, in the cage. So, you know, I'm going to go with fight starts round 2 at plus 118. Hafez has never been finished, first of all. I love, to be frank, I love Jack Della Maddalena. I think he's a very good fighter. I love his body work. I love his power. He's a very technical striker. But there is some deficiencies, and the deficiencies come in the actual wrestling / grappling. He's not very good there. You know, he's okay, but you got a guy like Angelusa, when he puts you in an arm triangle, almost. So Angelusa is nowhere near a black belt. Like, the guy's probably a white or blue belt, right? If that position was held by Basil Hafez, he's probably putting Maddalena to sleep, you know? So there's a difference between, you know, what I've seen with Maddalena and his opponents compared to this particular opponent, because this particular opponent is going to grapple. So fight starts round 2 is plus 118. But to be clear, I have a bet on Hafez at plus 525. I don't understand why the line was so big when it came out. I still don't understand why the line is plus 450. I think it's a little too wide here. Does Madalena come out and starch him? Yeah, it's possible. I'm not saying the most likely outcome is Madalena wins here, but I think people are kind of underestimating the newcomer Hafez here.
Yep, I think so too. I think the line is the way it is because there's just so much hype on Jack, and people don't really know this Hafez guy yet. But over 1.5 for plus money. I think the fight starts round 2. The over 1.5 is all interesting. Don't know if I have the balls to go that over 2.5, but I think this could go over 7.5 minutes. Let's see here. I don't think he was saying Hafez is better than Brady. He said like he fights like a similar style.
Yeah, I didn't say he's better than Brady. He's just very similar. But the one thing with him is he's a better striker than Brady. Brady's striking is not good. You know, when you're getting outstruck by Chiesa like that, left and right, you're not a very good striker. And Hafez at least shows me he can strike. He's got good leg kicks, he can strike, and he has power.
Yep. Is it better to take JDM by KO decision or KO sub? It'd be KO decision if you had to pick one there, but it's probably like minus like 350, something like that. Hafez very durable, over 1.5. Yep, never been finished. I like that. I like that look. JDM by decision plus 750. I don't know if I have the balls for that, but hey, it could be on the table. This guy's never been finished. All right. Main event time. If you guys have not already, be sure to smash the like button. We have 332 of you in here. Check out Narco. His link is down in the description. Narco Cop MMA does a Lambo show every Friday with Tim Troiano. Great show there. One of my favorite shows of the week. But we have the main event here. Mayra Bueno Silva going against Holm. We have Holm minus 171. Mayra Bueno Silva plus 146. Narco, this card is starting very late. I think it's starting at 7 o'clock Eastern time, East Coast here. And by the time this main event happens, it's going to be like 1:30 in the morning. So I'll try to stay up for this one. I think you'll be all right. But what do you like for this main event?
Yeah, for me, 4 o'clock, it's doable. We probably go to sleep, after this card ends at 11 or something, 11:30. I like Mayra Bueno Silva side here. It's plus 145 on Caesars. I mean, a lot younger. Holm, I think people are taking the recency bias on this fight is pretty funny to me. Like Holm looked dominant in the grappling against Yana Santos, who looked atrocious in round 2, round 3, her last fight out. I don't think Yana Santos belongs in the UFC anymore. And the difference here is Mayra Bueno Silva has more power on her feet, in my opinion. Mayra Bueno Silva, if you decide to take her down, she is super dangerous off her back. You could see the Jillian Robertson fight. Jillian Robertson's probably one of the best grapplers out there at 125, 150, wherever she's at now. And Mayra Bueno Silva subbed her. So Silva's a legit black belt. Holm is not going to want to be down there with her. And I got some other things to point out here. Holm, in her whole career, has never fought in the Apex, only once. And she lost that fight against Caitlin Vieira. This is the second time she's fighting in a small cage. Holm's whole game is predicated on moving around the cage, skirting around, doing kicks, throwing volume, right? It's going to be a lot harder to do when you're doing it in a small cage, right? So Mayra Bueno Silva here, plus money, plus 145. The other girl, Holm, is pushing 42 years old. Did she look good against Yana Santos? Yeah, in the grappling. Is she going to be able to do that against Mayra Bueno Silva? Absolutely not. So I just like the Silva here, man. I think she wins here. I don't know if it's going to be a stoppage because Holm is very, very tough. But I think she's going to win something like a 4-1, 3-2 decision here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm passing on this one, but I mean, there's no way you can lay minus 170 on 40-year-old Holm. I mean, I could see it now, laying minus 170, and she goes for a takedown and just gets caught in something. I don't know. It's not something I really want anything to do with. But Narco taking the dog shot there, dog or pass for him, and it's probably a pass or pass for me. All right, let's answer some final comments here, and then we'll head and give our best bet for the card. Holly looks like she's 50. Silva's young, and yeah, she did look kind of old at the weigh-ins there. Mara money line, inside the distance, and a 0.2 on the KO. Holly will hug her for 3 rounds. I'm not betting on a 40-year-old female. A 40-year-old WMMA favorite, red flag. Yeah, it's definitely red flags. Here we got MMA Jesus in the chat. What is up? And we want Holly to retire. She's boring. I pass. I mean, I'm not a big fan of her, but All right, so we're gonna go and show our bets here. So I actually got Danny's bets. He sent them before the show, and it looks like he has a couple similar ones to Narco. I'll go through Danny's bets, and then he gave his best bet as well. So Danny is sick. I forget what he said he had, but it did not sound pleasant. But Danny has taken the Perez KO 2-3 plus 650 on FanDuel, Munoz decision plus 110, Maxim decision plus 230. Elder KO 2-3 plus 360, Costa sub 2-3 plus 950, Dudakova sub 2-3 plus 550, Melsa KO plus 250, McKenny KO plus 330, Chandler money line plus 120, Duraev decision plus 320, Prado submission plus 500, JDM KO 2-3 plus 380, Holm decision plus 105. He gave me 13 bets. So I'm going to have to ask him to tell me which ones he wants to pass on. So I'll get those after the show. But he said his best bet is going to be the Costa 2-3 sub at plus 950. So he's shooting for 19 units there. All right, Narco, you are taking the Perez under 2.5 plus 155, Munoz decision plus 125, Maxim decision plus 235, Elder over 1.5 rounds. Minus 136, Costa wins by sub plus 450, Dudakova sub 2-3, plus 550, passing on the Melsick, Nazim, and Dumont fights. You're taking the Park over 2.5, minus 130, Prado money line, minus 110, JDM fight starts round 2, plus 118, and then the MBS money line, plus 145. Is all that correct? And if so, what is your best bet for the entire card?
All that's correct. And the best bet is the one highlighted somehow. You highlighted it like you knew it was going to be the best bet, but it's round 2-3 sub for Dudakova at plus 550.
Maybe that's a sign, man. Maybe
that is a sign. You had it highlighted. I don't know what's going on here. I never said anything to you about that being my best bet, but
it could be a sign. Could just
somehow you knew.
Heck yeah. All right, so yeah, Narco, you're doing pretty well in the competition. This is only your fifth card of the year, so you still have this one, and then 5 more after this. You're sitting pretty in 4th place. So looking to see how this competition kind of shakes out. Probably get you on either next week for London or the 291 card as well. So
yeah,
but
I'm free now that I'm back from Vegas.
Yeah. I didn't want to bother you while you're in Vegas because I know there's just so much going on.
I couldn't do it. Anyways, the internet was choppy. It was just it was rough out there to do shows and stuff.
Yeah, I imagine. But yeah, we did it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Narco, let the people know where they can find you and support you.
Yeah, Narco Cop on Twitter, Narco Cop MMA on my YouTube channel. Also, I do live spaces on Twitter for every fight card. So we do live betting there. We've been doing really good all year. So if you have time and you don't have anything to do, maybe stop in the spaces and listen to my ugly voice chat about MMA and the card.
Yes, sir. Check Narco out. Other than that, guys, be sure to like on your way out, subscribe to the channel, go subscribe to Narco. I'm like dying over here. Best of luck for UFC Vegas 77. We'll talk to you later. See ya.